How many years has Homemade Theater? It's over 50, right?
Yeah.
Because we had our 50th like a year ago.
Yeah. I never know the exact number of years.
We can just say a little over
50
a little
years.
over 50 years.
My mic was working. Okay, there we go. Mic check, mic check. We have me, we have both of you. All right, I'm going to roll the open.
Okay.
Welcome back to Behind the Curtain, where we highlight the best and brightest of the Capital Region's theater scene. I'm joined by two very special guests this morning. We have Teresa and Kelly with Homemade Theater in Saratoga. Ladies, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We're here specifically to talk about the upcoming Murder Mystery Dinner Theater Show. So exciting to have a theater experience that is interactive for people in the community. Teresa, you are working as your title is the artistic advisor, but I know that you have many roles with Homemade Theater.
I've had a number of roles over the years of Homemade Theater, and since I had directed a couple of the previous murder mysteries, when Kelly came on board to direct this one, she said, how about a little help here?
Okay.
Yes, please.
It's a team effort. Kelly,
Absolutely.
talk to me about why you turned to Teresa for her expertise here.
Well, I've been doing theater in New York City for the last 20-some years, so this is my first show back in the Capital District, which is where I'm from originally. And I hadn't directed this sort of interactive theater in a while, and I met Terry, and she had done the last few, and I just thought she knows all the ins and outs of the mansion, where the show's taking place. She knows how the process works of the cast interacting with them, and then they get to vote on who they think the murderer is. And there are just a lot of little technical things that you don't get with normal theater. So who better than the person who had done it for the last few years to help me? And she very graciously agreed.
That's very exciting. Before we get more into the weeds about how a production like this comes together, tell me a little bit more about Homemade Theater in Saratoga.
Homemade Theater's been around for over 50 years in Saratoga. It is the community theater for the city. They used to be in the Little Theater in the State Park, but since COVID, we've gone completely volunteer. And now we work mostly in the music hall in Saratoga, although the show is in the mansion. We do about 4 shows a year for our season, usually including one where we work with the schools and bring all of the local school districts in to see matinee performances. And one of our artistic committee members works with the teachers to pick a show that works with their curriculum. And then every once in a while, we do a show like this that's outside of our season, just as a special event.
Well, I think it's perfect for people who are visiting Saratoga, especially in the summertime when there's so much happening, and to have an event they can go to where they can really dress up and get themselves involved and match the atmosphere. Tell me more about the location for this show and why that plays a part in bringing it to life.
Oh, the mansion on Route 29 in Rock City Falls is just a beautiful, beautiful place for an event. And the cocktail hour is in the mansion where people can wander around and take a look at the beautiful building itself, and interact with some of the characters, the science fiction characters, because they are at a science fiction convention.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So not your traditional setting for a murder mystery. Tell me more about the storyline, because I know that we don't want to give too much away. We want it to really unfold in front of the audience. But how does the show come to life? How does it start?
The show is at the 10th anniversary of a science fiction show that's sort of an homage to Star Trek. And so these characters have been working together for 10 years. There's a lot of past relationships that you're uncovered. And also for this special event, the creator, writer, director of the show is coming on with a special announcement. And so you see what happens when he announces the new book that he's writing and the cast's reaction to that. So the audience for the play is actually the audience at this big Comic-Con panel. So they get to interact with these characters who, on the one hand, they're characters on the show, but they're also the actors playing them. So they get this interesting dichotomy between the performer and the television character that each actor has to play.
And we know with live theater, every night can be different of the same show based on how the audience reacts, based on the environment. But with a show like this, that's kind of taken up a notch, right? Because the audience members are so ingrained in the events that unfold. Tell me more.
We actually have had rehearsals where all we do is bring in a few extra people to be the audience and have our actors come up and practice talking to them as they would with the people who will be at the tables when we do the show. So they get used to interacting, and whatever random question gets put to them, they need to be able to think on their feet and answer. So it makes the audience really part of the experience. They're not just watching it, they're actively participating.
So there's a little bit of improv going on.
Oh, very much so.
Okay. What have you seen in doing work like this before with these kinds of murder mystery shows, Teresa, that stands out to you in terms of like audience reaction? How do people feel being in a room like that? I know for some shy folks, they might be more attuned to just sit back and watch, but others are probably really excited to get involved.
Well, different people respond in different ways.
Yeah.
You're right. There are some of the people who get enormously involved. I know when we did the class reunion murder mystery, there were people who got really involved with identifying with the different characters and different classes. And I think that some of the people get really into it, and others can relax and let somebody else take the reins for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. When we talk about what people should prepare for when they come to the theater to see this, or in this case, the mansion, how should they ready themselves? I know that when you're going to see a show where you're in a traditional black box theater setting, the lights off, and you're sitting there and you're just an observer. How else can people get ready for an experience like this to really enjoy it to the fullest?
I would say just relax and be ready to have a good time, bring an open mind, prepare to laugh. You're going to laugh a lot, I hope. And just think of it as a fun night out rather than going and being an observer. Think about it as a full-on experience. Also bring an appetite because the food at the mansion is absolutely delicious.
Yes. Dinner and a show. Okay, so the dates are July 31st, August 1st, and August 2nd with two performances on August 1st. Tickets include the cocktail hour, is that right?
Yes, it is hors d'oeuvres. It is a cash bar, but the hors d'oeuvres are part of your ticket price.
That's wonderful. Okay, how many people can fit in the venue at one time?
90.
Wow. All right. So a big crowd can be expected for this show. I want to also talk about the remainder of the season. I'm looking at the next show being Clue, which
Yes.
kind of has a similar theme to a murder mystery show. Is this one also interactive?
No, the rest of our season is not interactive. It's your traditional show at the theater. They'll be at Saratoga Music Hall on Broadway in Saratoga. And they're more your sit back and watch and have a good time.
Great. Okay, so let's talk more about the cast for the murder mystery show. What kinds of actors do you look to cast in a play like this? They have to be able to think on their feet. They have to be able to interact with people they've never met before. What kind of cast have you assembled?
It's an interesting cast because we have one person who's never done theater before in his life who actually asked, how do auditions work? How does this work? And he is just doing an absolutely wonderful job. And then we have people who do this sort of interactive murder mystery theater and improv as their primary form of artistic endeavor.
Wow.
So it's the whole range. Mostly you want people who are game and who want to have fun and are ready to mix it up with the audience and just enjoy themselves up there.
So this is a true community theater where people who have a range of experience in the arts can audition and can get involved. Talk to me about the way that you cultivate community, how you find people to get involved in these productions. Do you have a lot of returning actors that come back for seasons and seasons?
We do. In this show, we have a couple of actors who have worked with us many times in the past. One just came into rehearsal last night, Peter Burley, who's playing our captain, Captain Rolex Time. And he was wearing a shirt that had Homemade Theater season from, I think, 2016 and all of the shows that had been on it. And one of our other actors, Byron Turner, identified that he had been in 3 of the shows on that T-shirt. So they've come back over and over again. But then also we have a new actress who just found us on Facebook when we put up on Theater 518 that we were looking for actors. She reached out and auditioned for us and is also just doing a lovely job.
It's very exciting. When you think of a murder mystery show, the characters are usually very quirky. They all have distinguishable features and personalities. Tell me a little bit about the different characters in this play.
Well, gosh, you're going to be better at that than I am.
It's a Star Trek-esque convention. So you have the captain who is the ultimate ladies' man in his own mind, and the android science officer, the female second in command who probably should be the one who's in command, and then a security officer who's known as the red shirt who always dies and is very bitter about that. Our villain, who is an android whose costume will have to be seen to be believed. And then our medical officer. And in addition to that, you also have Kirby, who is the biggest fan, who is our in for the audience in a way. And he's introducing the panel to the audience as the head of their fan club, and the writer, Herbert Dune, who has created all of this and seen it going from the idea in his mind to now the corporate show that has been created. And
he's just written a tell-all book.
Yes, about all the behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
Okay,
so,
which I'm sure is of concern to some of the people he worked with.
Absolutely. I would say all of the people he worked with.
They all have something they don't want us to know, I'm sure.
Everyone has a skeleton in their closet somewhere.
Yeah. Talk to me about the blocking of this show. Are people going to be getting up from their seats and moving around, or will they be fully seated once the action starts?
The audience members are fully seated when the action starts.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's action all the way around them.
Oh,
so it's pretty involving, even though they aren't on stage themselves. They might feel like they are.
And what does the room look like within the mansion where most of this takes place?
Within the mansion we have the cocktail hour, but behind the mansions is this large wedding tent.
Oh.
Where all the tables are set up and the people have dinner, and where all the action occurs.
Okay, all right. So as people move about the mansion during cocktail hour, and they sort of get into the mindset of the evening, when the characters are milling about and talking with them, are they getting any hints as to what's to come?
I would say probably
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. So it would be wise to be paying attention to your surroundings during that time if you really want the full experience.
Yes.
Okay. So we talked about Clue. I want to get into some of the other stuff this season. You have A Year with Frog and Toad the Musical. That one's going to be great for kids, right?
Yes. Yep. And that's right around Christmas time, so it'll be a great family experience.
And then following that is To Kill a Mockingbird, a classic, Harper Lee's novel that has been adapted. And then finally, I wanted to especially highlight Reading Between the Lies by you, Kelly.
Yes.
Okay, so how long did it take you to write this? Is this the first time that it's coming to stage?
No, it's the first time it's coming to the Capital District.
Okay.
I wrote this because I had a not-for-profit theater company in New York City that I started with my husband and two creative partners, who were both also women of a certain age. And we were having a really hard time finding a comedy that we could do because there was usually an ingenue, a little old lady, and a maid. And none of us were any of those things anymore. So after a night of brainstorming, I wrote Reading Between the Lies, and we workshopped it in readings a couple of times with my creative partner and dramaturge, Wendy O'Reilly, who really is almost a co-author on it. And then we did a workshop production of it in New York City back in 2014, and then in 2015 it was in the New York International Fringe Festival.
Wow.
And it got a really good reception there. And then I submitted it to Eldridge Publishing, and they published it. So now it's been done in a few states across the country.
Wow, congratulations. What's it about?
It is a noir farce set in. It's another murder mystery. Sort of a theme for the season is the murder mystery. But it's set in the 1940s, post World War II, and it's the first read through of a new Broadway show. And it's sort of they've gotten the band back together. There's the fading ingenue who's probably should not be playing ingenues anymore. There's the fading star who used to be married to the head writer and drove him to run away to Kansas to teach theater for a while, and now he's back with his new fiance. There's the hard-drinking producer's wife who gave up theater to marry into money, and her sort of feckless husband. And my favorite character that I've ever written is Broadway baby Betty Blue, who was a Shirley Temple-esque star and then got too old to play those roles. So she has been in assisted care, let's say, for the last 20 years, and now she's going to make her big comeback on Broadway. And the producers have hired her to goose the sales, but she still thinks that she's Broadway baby Betty Blue, and she won't come into the room unless someone sings her theme song, and she wants to solve the mystery, and is also the best actor out of the whole room. So she adds just a sort of screwball energy to all of it. And those three characters are all written for women over 40. So they're good, strong comic roles, I think, that women can play, and they don't have to be either, super young or super old to do.
That's fantastic. And that one runs May 7th through the 16th of 2027. Mm-hmm. We have just enough time here to recap the upcoming Murder Mystery Show.
Yes.
Remind everyone when and where it is and where they can get their tickets.
The Murder Mystery is at the Mansion, which is on 801 New York Route 29 in Rock City Falls. It's running July 31st the cocktail hour starts at 6 o'clock. On August 1st at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and August 2nd at 12 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you both so much for coming today.
Oh, and you can get tickets at,
Oh, yes.
is it homemadetheater.org? Okay.
Yes, I have it open
Okay.
right here.
And you can get tickets at homemadetheater.org.
Okay. Thank you both so much for joining me for this episode of Behind the Curtain. You can find more details on news10.com for a link as well to tickets, and we'll see you next time.